And we are live. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Bigfoot Odyssey. This is Wednesday Encounters. I'm your host, Carrie. With me, as always, producer, co-host, Daniela Iolo. How are you, dear? Car trouble, I
Thank you.
know.
Car trouble. I'm back home. I'm warm. That's the main thing.
Is it pretty cold there?
Yeah, it's dropped to like 4 by the time I got home. So that's what, 38, something like that.
Yeah, it's been in the mid 40s here all day and raining. Running a little bit of fever, actually. It's sinus stuff. I just can't seem to shake it. But hey, I took some Tylenol. Should be good. Quick reminder, just remind everyone, please keep it clean for us. We appreciate that. Our moderators will not time you out for making an ugly statement, but they will give you a warning. And if it continues, then yeah, they'll probably time you out. So we appreciate them for the hard work they do here for us and taking care and maintaining the integrity of our chat. But our guest coming to us from Southeast Oklahoma, Hunter, how you doing, man?
Good. How are you?
Doing okay. We're here. We're hanging around. We talked a little bit on the phone. Didn't get to talk as much, quite as I wanted to. But when I know you're coming on to talk about your experiences, I don't really want to hear all of it on the phone, because it just seems to be our reactions are a little bit more natural when we don't know. I think our questions are a lot less leading when we don't really know. So. So just kind of tell us a little bit about yourself, man, before we get into it.
Well, work in the oil field. Just like the outdoors.
What do you do in the oil field?
Well, I've done frac for a while. Actually, going next week, I'm gonna move to the E-Tech side of things instead of being an equipment operator. A little easier than swinging a hammer all the time.
Ain't it? Messing with those frac manifolds. Yeah, I've been in well testing here for 10 years, so finally got to be a company rep, and I'm not going back. So well, cool, man. Well, so you've had several experiences. Why don't you just kind of walk us through what happened and try to keep it linear, first ones first and all that, and just kind of tell us the story, man. What happened?
Well, 2016, I think is probably right before fall. It's still pretty hot outside. A couple of buddies went out to Wister Lake off this road. It's called Pocahontas Road. It's an old dirt road you can take off, goes to a wildlife management area, and it goes all through the woods, probably about 5 miles before you get back there into the backside of the lake. It's kind of where the rivers and the creeks come in, feed the lake and stuff. And just a lot of hardwoods, pines and stuff like that. Well, we got out there. We was going to do some catfishing out there that night. And made us a little campfire and kind of sat around the fire and everything. And we was just talking and noticed some little pebbles and stuff starting to get thrown at us, and felt some of them on my back and stuff. But
let me ask you this. How did you know they were being thrown? Could you see them coming in? There's a difference. I mean, things can be falling from a tree or whatever.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking at first. Maybe a squirrel or something,
Right.
And we started seeing them, kind of land around the fire and stuff. And we all kind of stood up and looked around. And that's when we looked around. There wasn't anything falling out of the trees, and a little bit bigger rocks started getting thrown. And eventually, there's a pretty good, about a brick size rock came in and landed pretty close to us there. And we heard a couple different vocalizations. There's a pretty loud howl coming out of the tree line, and then there's another one, I guess, answering it, but it seemed like it was on the other side of the lake, closer over backside of that Blue Mountain.
So what's going through your head, man? What are you thinking during something like this?
I'm kind of excited, a little bit, but
Sasquatch on the brain? Is that what you were thinking?
I didn't know what it was. I've always believed in Sasquatch, but I was just excited to see what it might be. Anything that night.
I'm not going to interrupt you anymore.
Oh, you're fine. I think there's a lag or something in the.
Oh yeah, it probably is.
Yeah, my buddies, they wasn't too much excited about it though, so they didn't really like that. But after them howls and stuff, we sat there and looked at that tree line for a little bit. I'm not exactly sure if that's where them rocks were coming from. I mean, they could have been coming from anywhere, you know. But
How close?
to the tree line.
Yeah.
Tree line is probably about 40 yards,
Far enough.
and a little opening. And it's all woods out there, but there's kind of a little opening where people's kind of cut some wood down and stuff for, you know, camping and crap out there. But gets weird is we were kind of sitting there we were standing up looking toward the tree line. My truck's parked, you know, in front of us. It's facing toward the lake, kind of, or a little finger that comes in out of the lake, makes a little slough. And I had the passenger or the driver's side window was rolled down on my truck, and we're sitting there, and my headlights turned on my truck. So I was sitting there thinking, because you have to physically turn the knob over to turn them on. I don't have auto lights or anything like that. Key was in my pocket, so I didn't know what to think about that. And I went over there. There wasn't nothing there. We didn't hear anything. The knob was physically turned over to bright. It was turned all the way over, turned my lights on, whatever it was. I mean, we ran over there pretty quick, and there wasn't anything over there. And it confused me because there's just, you know, a bunch of dead leaves on the ground from my truck all the way to the tree line. And you would think you'd hear something crunching through the leaves, taking off or something. But I don't know what the deal with that was.
So your headlights just came on.
Yeah.
Was it in? I mean, mine are automatic. So when it starts to get dark a little bit, if you have it on that setting, they'll just come on. You didn't have it. Do you have that setting on your vehicle?
No, I didn't. I had a 06 Dodge 1-ton at the time, and it didn't have auto.
So it's on or off?
Like yeah, it's on or off.
Was the switch off and they came on?
It was switch was all the way off when I parked it. I turned it off physically, and when they came on and went over there, that switch was turned all the way over to bright. So, I don't know how that happened.
Yeah, that's that to me that would be pretty unnerving, or at least perplexing, if nothing else. Hey, real quick, shout out to Head Carter for that $20 super sticker, and Rough Water also $20. Thank you guys so much. So you guys, during the rock throwing incident, and you said you had some buddies with you.
Yeah.
And you had rocks coming in. When this big rock comes in, I mean, the suspects are pretty limited, aren't they?
Yeah.
Somebody, something with, you know, an articulating wrist, hand, whatever. So there wasn't really a thought of Sasquatch. Was it talked about that, hey, there could be a booger out here messing with us?
I mean, there's been a lot of people report seeing stuff around that area where we was at, going across the road, the main
Southeast Oklahoma.
Oh yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
There's hardly another place where more are reported.
Bigfoot capital over there.
For sure.
But my buddies didn't really know what to think about it, you know, but they kind of put two and two together. I don't know what else out there can throw a big rock like that. I know black bears, if you're under a ridge or something, you walk through mountains, they'll flip rocks off the ridge at you if there's one up there, but they're not going to flip one on flat ground, you know, all the way that far.
I did not know that.
Yeah, they'll if they're up above you, they'll scrape stuff down at you.
That's kind of intelligent, isn't it?
Yeah.
I didn't think bears had the presence of the awareness to do anything like that, but hey, learn something new every day.
Yeah.
So, and this was in 2015, you said?
2016.
2016.
Late 2016.
So, did you talk to your friends about what it could have been? I mean,
yeah, we talked about it. I even went back, got another buddy, and we went back out there after I dropped the other two off. They didn't want to go back out there, but we went out there and looked around, and we didn't see anything, and there wasn't anything else happening after that. So,
have you ever noticed heard any knocks or things like that?
I'm sorry, knocks? I think it kind of cut out.
Have you heard like tree knocks and things like that?
We didn't that night. I've heard tree knocks, but we didn't hear any that night.
So this was, how long was it before the next one? I mean, when you have an experience like that, you know, even if you're even just mildly aware, it's a little bit of an eye-opening experience. It's got to get you
Yeah.
thinking, or at least talking, and then going back into the woods. I mean, how'd you feel about that?
It didn't really bother me, I guess. I'd go back out there by myself and go fishing sometimes, but I'd have a gun with me.
Yeah, no doubt. Our good friend, Harvick, is here with us. Haven't seen him in a while. Good to see you there, buddy. And thank you very much. So time goes on, and you have another experience, right, with your brother?
Yeah, I have a few in between that even, and I remember stuff when I was kind of growing up and everything. Just wherever you want me to start at or go through. Or,
It's your story, buddy.
oh,
Like I said, just kind of keep it linear. If
yeah,
it's stuff that
yeah,
happened when you were growing up, that start there. But it doesn't really matter. It's just how you're comfortable telling it. It's a lot to ask someone to come on, show their face, talk about these things. If you've never done it or you're not used to it, there's a little bit of nervous energy, and it's understandable.
yeah.
And so you don't have to worry about anything here. Most everybody here pretty forgiving. So if you happen to leave something out and then come back to it later, it's really not a big deal. I'll tell anybody, just take a deep breath, calm down, think about things as they happened, try to give as much detail as you can, and just let the story come out.
Okay. Well, I tell you, when I was little, we used to have a rabbit hut. Is on the other side of the property there, and there's a creek kind of separated that part of the property from the yard and everything, and we had some horses and stuff over there. But that rabbit hut, we had probably about 6, 7 rabbits in it at one time, and I just my little brothers and me, and they all get the rabbits out and play with them and stuff. But I know we went out there one morning. There's a hole ripped open in the chicken wire, and every single one of them rabbits was gone except for one of them.
How many?
I think 6. I think we had 7 total, so all 6 of them was gone except for that one. And we ended up bringing that one in the house, put him in a little pen. Back then I had a little guinea pig. We just put him in there with that guinea pig, and
So you said it was ripped open up top.
yeah, it was like in the middle, and it wasn't a big hole. It was like something just kind of pulled a hole big enough to reach in there and grab them. You can see the hair where the rabbit's getting pulled, and that wire is coming back.
Didn't
getting through there.
Didn't happen to find any booger hair on the wire anywhere. Huh?
No, not that I noticed. There's too much rabbit hair, but there wasn't no rabbit pieces or anything laying around or anything like that. I know raccoons will get in there and take a rabbit. They're not going to take 6 of them.
Yeah, no doubt. And I talk to people sometimes, and we'll see comments sometimes. You should just leave these creatures alone. They don't want to be bothered. Well, then, if that's true, what is this? They're stealing your rabbits. This is why we don't leave them alone. I leave them alone, but this is why we don't have a problem with anyone going out and trying to get evidence for them and show the world that these creatures actually exist. It's things like that.
I tell you, we just kind of think it could be a number of things, but I still the whole time, took 6 rabbits and they're all gone. You never found them, and took that one in the house. We had it in the house probably a few months, and my dad finally decided, we're gonna put it back out there in the hut, whatever did it's probably long gone, But the same night we put them in there, I came out there to feed them in the morning before I get on the bus to go to school, and that rabbit's gone, hole ripped in the wire. So it's like something.
Come on.
Like something came out there and checked that rabbit hut every night or something.
Held out for the last one.
Yeah. And it wouldn't have been a bear, because the bear would have tore that whole chicken wire, tore the crap out of that thing,
Well, any kind of predator we know of or that's recognized is going to leave a scene.
Mm-hmm.
Blood and hair, and not just to rip a hole. That's human activity, unless it's human or it's a humanoid.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know, unless someone came all the way around the backside of that mountain and came down to our property and that's the only way you can get over there, unless they cross through the yard or something. But
for 6 rabbits, if you're going to go through that kind of trouble, you can trap and hunt the rabbits all you want to.
Yeah. Well, how would they know, within that time gap that it was out there at that night?
Yeah, that's something watching.
Yeah.
So, what about growing up? Did you hear stories growing up from your
Oh,
parents or grandparents or friends?
all the time. I grew up in a little town called Summerfield. I don't know if you've ever been there, but it's a little north of Tallahena. You know where Tallahena's at?
I do.
Yeah, it's a little north of, just up the road. And man, there's people down there. I mean, they talk about seeing stuff all the time. Uh,
They're there.
yeah, it's pretty common.
The
Not
whole,
everyone's going to come out and open and say it though. No, but
not usually, not country folks.
yeah,
It's just kind of one of those things, they might talk to each other a little bit about it and say, hey, but it's not anything they're going to report. Hey,
hmm
there's a Sasquatch out here. Somebody come do something. No, they're going to tell the kids, hey, there's a booger out there. Don't go in the woods, or they'll talk to the neighbors, saw one of those boogers or whatever. But that whole big thicket area from East Texas, Southeast Oklahoma, we hear it so many times that they're a little bit more brazen, maybe a little bit more aggressive at times, but definitely not skittish and afraid to come up and get your rabbits.
yeah, yeah, for sure.
So what happened after that?
Well, uh, there was a stint there. My dad was having to go to Dallas uh, for work. He'd be down there for a few weeks at a time. So my grandma would come stay at the house and watch us and stuff. We go to school in the morning. I went to a little rural school. Bus would come way out there in the middle of nowhere, and pick us up and stuff. But I remember there was one night she was doing dishes and stuff, and window over the sink. You see there's like a little cutoff trail that goes up the hill. And you go up to the top of the hill and go back, and then you eventually get to national forest and stuff. But I remember she said she seen something when she was doing dishes standing back there by the cellar, and she said it was taller than the cellar. It was kind of a cellar. It's kind of we dug in the side of that hill there,
Hmm.
and I don't know. It scared her. She locked all the doors and closed all the windows and put us all in one room.
Did she describe it?
She just said it was a booger. That's all she said.
How tall is the cellar?
Uh, I'd say the cellar's probably maybe 7 foot off the front part of it.
A house.
Yeah, pretty I guess.
Yeah, a big one.
Yeah,
And that was your mom, you said, right?
that was my grandma.
Your grandmother.
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry.
Yeah, it scared her though. So. She didn't like us going out there. She watched stuff because me and my little brothers, we's all the time running through the woods and stuff and just catching critters and whatever else we get.
Yeah.
And
Did your grandparents not tell you stories from their past of stuff like that?
oh yeah, my grandma she told me a whole bunch of different stories. I mean, not anything specifically toward a Bigfoot or anything, but she had a lot of interesting stories and stuff. I think her favorite one to tell us was about the Black Panther.
Hmm?
But
What was that one?
oh, she just there's a bunch of people around there actually say they see a Black Panther. I know a guy he's got a ranch over there, in Oklahoma, and there's Sugarloaf Mountains on one side of the valley, and you got Kavanaugh and you got Poto Mountain, and I think every year about the same time, sometime in the summer, a bunch of people report seeing a big old black cat just going through the field. I guess it goes in between the mountains or something, or I don't know. But
They're there. They'll tell you they're not. My first cousin killed one in 87, and it was probably about 4 feet long, and its tail was 3 feet long. Wasn't full grown, but I saw it. We had three-wheelers back then,
mhm,
but he had it on the rack of his three-wheeler, and my aunt has pictures of it today, and it was a leopard, black leopard, because
yeah,
you could just see the spots on it. But they're around. They come up from South America
oh yeah,
up this way.
yeah. She told me her I think one of her cousins from way back in the day. He was riding a horse around a pecan orchard along Poto River, and big old black cat jumped out of a tree on top of him, knocked him off that horse, and cut his back up pretty good.
Hey,
Oh.
Everything. He got a lot of stitches and everything. I think the horse it pulled through it, but it was pretty tore up. But I think he was
That's
more interested in the horse. Just kind of, he was just in the way.
and that's unusual
Yeah.
for even a mountain lion to attack an animal that big.
Well,
That's hungry.
we had a neighbor down there where I live, where that rabbit hut and everything. You go back through that property, and there's a creek, and then go up the hill, and there's another house up there. It's kind of isolated, and they had a horse, and we had a mountain lion come through there. It'll come through there every year, same time. You'll see it, and you really got to watch little kids and stuff because it'll be walking around the tree line watching the yards and stuff like that. But it jumped on it. You tell the game wardens, and game wardens said there ain't no mountain lions out there.
Oh yeah, that's what they're supposed to say, and the same
Yeah.
thing about Sasquatch. But yeah, parents, watch your kids. Matter of fact, they should be inside reading. Make your kids read.
Yeah. But it jumped on the neighbor's horse up there, and it tore the guts out of it. The guts was hanging. But
Mm.
vet came out there and said there's a mountain lion, cut it open, and game warden, oh, all right, he went out there and he set some traps up around the properties and stuff. We had one on our property, I think. They never caught it.
Well, hey, at least they took action and did something.
Yeah.
So we're kind of moving a little bit fast. I know you had several other experiences
Yeah.
that you want to talk about. So this was it was after the 2015 incident. That was the first real thing you could point
2016.
back to.
Yeah, something physically happened to me in 2016, and I think the next year, 2017, I was driving on that same road, and I had that time I had a 3/4 ton old second gen Dodge, and I don't know if you ever messed with one of those old Cummins, they got some wiring issues.
Yes, sir.
But I was driving down that road, and my headlights turned off. I had a wire; it'd come loose off the battery and stuff. My headlights and stuff would turn off, and my headlights went off. I hit a bump, and I stopped the truck on the side of the road, and I was going to get out and mess with that wire. Before I could open the door, something came up to the truck, and I mean, it just hit it, and it shook it. It was rocking it, and slapping it, and
Was it dark?
yeah, it was dark outside, so I couldn't. And I had pretty tinted windows, so I couldn't really see what was over there. But something was over there, physically slapping the side of the truck and the window, and it is
Yeah.
rocking it. And I don't know if there was one maybe trying to cross the road, and I stopped out there in front of them, because of my circumstances. Or
This wasn't
but
that same Dodge we had the headlight problem, is it?
no, this ain't the same Dodge. It's a different Dodge.
Just made me think that whole headlight thing.
Nah, this is an older Dodge I had that I messed around with for a while. But
Well, I mean, that's incredible. I mean, that's something angry with you. Obviously,
I'm
you
sorry,
stopping this.
broke up there.
Oh, I probably have terrible internet here. It may go out at some point, but that's terribly unnerving. I mean,
Yeah.
horrifying. That's something angry at you. You stop and it comes up and starts shaking the whole truck. I mean, you were in the
Mhm.
cab. Are you reaching for a gun or anything at this point?
No, I didn't have anything with me at the time. I put it in
Sure.
drive and started driving. So I didn't really
Well,
want to stay around and see what it was.
did you tell anybody about? Oh,
I never told no one about that one, but it
Was there any
happened.
damage? Was there any damage on the truck?
No, there wasn't no damage or anything. I didn't even see any handprints or nothing. Just
Mm.
But that's got to wake you up.
oh yeah,
To even just going back in the woods. When you have something aggressive like that towards you, and Sasquatch is on your brain. I know you've had these experiences. 2 + 2 is 4. You figure these things out. There's got to be some kind of trepidation about going into the woods at all.
well,
You just not worry about it.
there's some places I'll feel uneasy, but most of the time I don't go in there by myself. I'll have somebody with me or something. I'm not going to go out there by myself in that time. But
Yeah, no, I hear that.
but it's not going to keep me from going out there and enjoying it and everything.
I mean, that's good. That's not a terrible thing, but people talk about fear. It's wise. It's smart, to have a respectful. Fear is the only other word you can use,
Mhm.
but it's survival is what it is. It's in us usually. to want to stay alive. And when you're talking about something like this, it can probably dispatch you relatively quickly if it wanted to. And then now there's this level I can breach. I can do something, even if it's something as anemic as pulling over on the side of the road. Something runs out and shakes your truck. You think it was just trying to scare you, or do you think it was actually after you?
I don't think it was actually after me because, I mean, my window was rolled down on my side. It could have just ran over there and grabbed me if it wanted to. But, I mean, like I said, I think maybe it was about to cross the road at that time or something, and I just happened to pull over in front of it or something, was coming out of the woods. Maybe it got mad about that. I don't know.
Yeah. Get out of my area, man.
But,
happens.
Yeah, I drove off, and I had to I hold my phone light out the window for a little while for headlights, trying to get out of there.
Good grief. That's right. The headlights weren't working.
But,
my goodness.
Mm.
Chilling. So, didn't tell anybody about this.
yeah, I didn't tell them about that one.
So, tell us about or what happened next. There was several things, right?
Well, I'll go ahead and get to where I actually seen one. Me and my brother both seen one.
We still got 35 minutes, so that's why I said we're kind of moving quick.
Well, this is December last year, December 6th. Me and my brother, this is actually in central Oklahoma, and we was over, it's by a town called Lexington, and there's a Lexington Wildlife Management area over there, and there's a little bitty lake. They call it a lake over there. It's just like a big pond to me, but we was driving down there. There's a curvy little dirt road going back into that little lake or whatever. We just kind of went out there, see if we could see any deer or big bucks or something, walking around, or, just kind of bored, hanging out with my brother and stuff. He was driving. We got down to that lake. We got out and was kind of looking over the lake, and, it was real cold and just still air. You know how cold air, sound travels through cold air pretty good. And we sitting there and heard this big old splash in that water over there. There's a little dam with the road on top of it, a bunch of water weeds up there in front of it, and heard that big splash. We looked over there, we shined a light over there, and we didn't see anything. And we seen a big old rock, like that, stack up against to keep erosion and stuff from happening on the sides of banks and stuff. Yeah, we
Volleyball
seen one of those get chunked out there in the water. We watched it, and there's about 3 more, and they were all pretty consecutive, about 10 seconds apart. And we couldn't see anything. Whatever it was is in that tall grass laying down or something.
That's where they were coming from?
Well, it wasn't coming toward us. It was just, you could see them go out into the water in the lake from that grass or whatever. But he sat there. They stopped after that third one, and we sat there watching. You could hear footsteps, like something on 2 feet coming on my brother's side, and there's one on my side, I guess, coming. You could hear them crunch through there. They wasn't trying to be quiet, and they were getting pretty close. But my brother finally decided he was going to drive off. We got back in and took off. There's only one little road that goes in that lake, so we took off the way we come. And when we leave, it kind of goes up a little in grade, and it has a sharp curve, to the left. We got that curve turn. That's when I seen one in the headlights, kind of standing behind a tree. And first thing I saw was his eyes light up in the headlights. They was about golf ball size. They was probably about that far apart.
What color? What color were they?
I apologize. I can't hear you.
What color were they? Did I break up again?
Yeah, it's broke up.
Must be his winter's end.
Yeah, it might be my internet. I don't know.
Have you got any other windows open on your computer?
Yeah,
because that'll slow you down.
There we go.
StreamYard doesn't take a ton of bandwidth, but if you have other windows open, Danielle and I.
Better now. That's probably what it was.
Danielle and I had a show. And we asked the guy if he had any windows open, and he started looking around, and he said, "No, I think they're all closed." I forgot who that was.
I know who it was.
You do? Okay.
while ago.
You can remind me later.
Yeah,
It was a funny moment.
it was
Anyway,
a funny moment. Yeah.
it definitely was. So you see this thing, and what color were the eyes?
They were white, kind of white,
White,
yellowish.
bright.
Yeah, just lit up in the headlights, and they were pretty big and they was pretty spaced out far apart. And I told my brother, I said, I see something there. So he slows down and kind of comes to a stop. And, I sit there, I'm looking at it, and it has its arm around this tree, and it's kind of squatting down. It starts hunching down, and it puts its hand up like it's trying to get the light out of its eyes and everything. And, it just kind of stand up and down. It wasn't very tall. I would probably say about 6.5 foot tall, but it was real, real wide, and just had black hair. You know, I couldn't make out a whole lot of features. It was dark, but you could definitely tell it was, what it was.
Was it
But
moving pretty quick?
oh yeah, yeah, it was moving pretty quick. It squat up and down. I guess it's trying to see if he can get somewhere he can see under them lights or something. But,
Did it want you? Did it want you to see it? Do you think?
well, he walked out there right in front of the car. I mean,
Oh well.
on that bend where the headlights would have shined. So I don't know. Maybe he did. Well, my brother, he kind of just he keeps driving. We drive past it, and I didn't see it no more. But we get up. There's another. You turn right there. There's another curve. Turns back to the right after that. My brother seen one. I seen it too. Right there in the headlights in the curve of the road. He wasn't in the woods. He's in the curve of the road. He's a little bitty skinny thing. He's probably like 5 foot tall, but he's covered in hair. And he kind of, the headlights hit him. He kind of like, oh crap, kind of. And when we came to the side of him, he just turned and kind of sprinted. I mean, he took off fast, like he's kind of running alongside the car, but he's in the woods. He got off in the woods though, but he's a little bitty dude, but he's fast.
I mean, running upright.
Yeah. Yeah, he took off like a sprinter.
So, the reason I asked that about the eye color is because you've hunted, you've shined deer. You can tell a deer has blue, green, sometimes a doe. Once in a while, you'll get a buck. His eyes will be orange.
Yeah.
We hear red a lot, and I've actually seen red. There's a segment in the film that's going to be coming out soon, 168 hours, that Blake Deutscher got. And it's red. It's one big red eye about 8 feet off the ground, only maybe 15, 20 feet away through the bush, that he got 10 seconds of. But it's red. There's no doubt it's not. And it's big and really off the ground. So that's the reason I asked is the color, because we hear red eye shine. And I had never seen it until I came across that. In the film, it was.
Yeah, I've never seen the red eye shine before.
You have?
I haven't.
Yeah, no, me either. Hunted for a very long time and shined a lot of animals, but never. So you talked to your brother about this? What did he say?
He was kind of scared at the time. That one ran upside the car. He kind of took off a little bit after that one, and because you got thinking about it, and those ones that's coming up while we were out there out of the car, at the lake, and then there was two posted up like they was on the road, like they was kind of coming in, on a circle or something, and I don't know if maybe those ones are down there on that road saying, hey, they left or something, or if they were all kind of trying to block us in or something. But it was weird.
Well, now there's no denying it. You've seen it. You know that these things are out there. How does that make you feel about going back? I mean, obviously you said you don't go in the woods by yourself, but I mean, do you still not really worry about it? I mean, because you've had some aggressive things happen to you, obviously. So are you just that fearless and just say, hey, just to heck with it, I'm going out there anyway?
I mean, it doesn't really bother me. Like I said, there is places, that I have been out there that you feel uneasy, got an uneasy feeling, and you kind of just, get a hair stand up on your neck, kind of just don't go there, but most time I go out there, I don't have no problem, it doesn't bother me. I just accept that they're out there. I mean, ain't nothing I can do about it.
Yeah, you do it 1,000 times, nothing happens. It's that one time.
Yeah.
It happens, and once You don't know when it's going to happen again, or if it could happen again. And look, this is from my own personal perspective here. I'm not, I don't have a very fearful sensibility about most things, but when it comes to this creature, even the things we hear now, they're just so unpredictable.
Yeah.
You just don't know. It's like we hear a lot of ubiquitous terms when it comes to, this is what Sasquatch does, this is what they don't do. And to me, that's like even if someone studied one clan for 20 years and knew everything there was to know about this particular clan around there, does that mean they know about the creature coast to coast? For everything that we hear, the behavior is so much different. Even the way they look, even in the same areas, these creatures look different. It's like meeting someone from New York City and saying, "Hey, well, I met a New Yorker, and New Yorkers are really nice people."
Yeah. Well, you got that picture I sent you, didn't you, of the sketch?
Yes, I need to send that to Daniela. It's been it was a long day.
Oh yeah, it's fine. Yeah, that's I thought that one was pretty strange looking.
I'll send this to Daniela right now.
That was on the same road that I had those rocks thrown and my truck shaking.
Who drew
But
this?
I don't know the name of the guys. My good friend, he used to be our neighbor down there in Summerfield, and we lived down there by him. But the guy that he knew seen one cross the road on that road, and he was a sketch artist. I think maybe a police sketch artist or something like that, if I remember right. And
Same road you had your experience?
yeah, same road, but this is a long time before, I might not even been born.
Right.
But it's on the same road. But he drew it. He told my buddy that he's just driving through there, and it kind of just came out in the middle of the road, and it just kind of stood there, and it looked over, and he said it once it realized, what was going on, that thing just took off like a jackrabbit. So
I haven't ran the numbers. I heard this from the BFRO that 70% of sighting reports sent to the BFRO are roadside sightings, seen from a vehicle on the side of the road. It's
Yeah.
up, and obviously you could you classify it as a class A, I guess. Someone saw the thing going across, but you got the safety of your vehicle. When you're out in those woods, how do you deer hunt? How do you do it, man? How do you go back and sit there knowing that one of these, two of these, three of these creatures could be sitting there watching you,
Yeah.
waiting for an opportunity, possibly?
Well, I'm more of a fisherman, so.
Well,
But,
I'm not going to shoot him with your fishing pole.
no, but I do have a gun with me.
So, do you hunt at all?
I haven't been in a long time. I did when I was, a little kid. I've been a few times and would go coon hunting and stuff, but
I guess
I haven't
fishing.
been.
I guess fishing's a little bit different.
Yeah, my grandpa was a big fisherman, so I was always into that, him and everything. I like catching them big old flatheads and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, that's fun stuff. You get a 40, 50 pounder. That's all day. You let them go. You keep them.
I eat most of them. I like a crappie better than a catfish, though.
Oh, of course. I never like to eat big catfish. They always tasted too muddy.
Yeah.
Put some crab oil in there, help it out, but still, we always let those go. But I guess fishing would be different. It's a lot more open. You feel like you're just a little bit safer. And for the most part, what we hear, what I've experienced and people experience, especially down in Florida, is these beings will put something between you and them. A thicket, a thick patch of palmettos, a canal. They'll get close, but it's always like they know you can't get to them. And for them to be, just to let you know that they were even there by throwing those big rocks, that must work, because we hear that a lot. Big rocks coming in and hitting the water. And we've heard that so many times. That must be just a common thing, and it must work to scare people off or to get people out of there. It's rare that we do hear of an instance where someone goes somewhere new or is not going off trail and runs into one of these creatures and it's being aggressive toward them. Usually someone has to do something, but for you just to be passively out there fishing. Now, we've heard plenty of stories where people are fishing and this thing comes up and takes the fish.
Yeah.
There was a story from Maine. See if I can find this. This is pretty good. You got that picture, Danielle?
Yes, I have. Just realised I was muted. There we go.
Yeah, so I can't tell if that's is it female, maybe? What he was drawing there, or is that
He
just
didn't say he
muscled
didn't
up?
say it. I think it's just muscled up or just what he saw. He said it was scrawny though, but it had muscle definition to it. But he said it was real mangy, like it
Well,
had mange or something.
Bit better like this, a bit close up. It's got pecs anyway, hasn't it? The
Yeah.
breasts or pecs.
Well, what gets me is the hair on the face. You know, what I saw had no hair on his face. Any picture I've seen from South Florida, there was no hair on the face, but we get a lot of people reports. That's what they saw, is this thing has hair everywhere.
Got a weird looking head, doesn't he?
They're all weird looking to me.
Yeah.
I've never seen one that wasn't weird looking, I don't think.
Interesting.
He said the hair was real thin though, so
Mm.
real thin. My buddy said when he talked to him about it, he ain't seen him a long time, but so he talked about it. You know, he almost come to tears and hair on his arm stand up, stuff like that. But
Do we hear about many, podgy ones? Well, they all tend to be pretty lean, don't they? Muscly. But I guess at some point maybe they, do they let themselves go a little bit? Depends, doesn't it? I mean, you don't know, do you? You just don't know.
The way that guy told my buddy is it kind of looked like a kid or something, a bigger kid, but it looked like it was just wasn't very old. But
I've probably skimmed right over this. I'll tell you what I saw wasn't skinny. He was 3.5, 4 feet wide at the shoulders and straight up and down. He was looked to be as wide at the hips as he was at his shoulders. Just a square block of black hair and a funky looking head and face. That looked normal walking up, but once he got angry, those old classic pictures of the devil, that's what it really reminded me of. You know, the face wasn't wide, long face, very protruding type of mouth, kind of pointed nose down. It just had that, just looked evil. It was extremely unnerving.
I had some pictures of prints and stuff, but they were on my old phone, and I kind of broke that up pretty bad about going through phones. But
so what's your thoughts on them, what they are?
I don't think they're a monkey or an ape or anything like that. But as far as a conclusion, I mean, I don't know. I don't think really anyone knows 100%.
That's interesting when you hear that, they're putting their hands up to block the light. I mean, that no other animals do that, do they? They're not that aware of how they can block something out. I mean,
yeah,
they're definitely intelligent, aren't they?
Yeah, I would say so.
So when you were saying you don't go out at night, I mean, why would you go out at night in the woods? What do you go out in the woods? Do you hunt at night? I mean, do people do that?
I
I mean,
fish at night,
oh, fish at night. Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fish at night.
What did you think the rocks were then that were being thrown to what, when you were fishing? What do you think what was going on there?
At first, I really I thought maybe it was some squirrels or something dropping some stuff out of the trees, but as it progressed, we realized there's something else going on.
Did you ever shout out to it or anything like that?
No, not that night. I didn't.
But people just react differently, don't they? to stuff going on, if they're not aware it's Bigfoot, it's just trying to work out, logically, what is it. And we've had a few people that have said hi or hello to a Bigfoot, not necessarily realizing what is there,
Yeah.
Hey, I did it.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, just I thought it was a dude. If I'd have been anywhere else, I think I would have recognized what it was before I did. But it was all circumstantial, the whole thing.
Yeah.
Because of where I was. You
Yeah.
want to take some questions from the chat?
Yeah.
While I look for this? You have a question for Hunter? Put it in caps for us, please. Make it a little bit easier to find. I'm going to find this story because it's interesting. It's secondhand.
Okay, we'll wait for some questions to come up. We've got one here from Iron Dogger. Has he heard any screams or long howls while out fishing?
Not necessarily fishing, but I've heard them out being out in the woods. Thing.
What sort of howls? I mean, you must know what most animals sound like.
Yeah, the most common one I hear out there is it'll be like real deep, like someone setting a tornado siren off or something on at first, and it'll kind of wind down, and then after that, it might do it again, but then coyotes just go crazy. So I don't know. I've been out there and heard coyotes will be going crazy, and it sounds like something beating the crap out of a coyote, and them coyotes just go quiet.
All right.
So I don't know if maybe it's taking food away from them or what.
Jimmy Barr played me a clip that he got, and it's when you listen to it, it sounds like coyotes. And this is out where we filmed 168. He had gone out there one night because he's missing some brain cells, I think. Jimmy's fearless. He just wants to see one for whatever odd reason. But it's dark. He's out there by himself, no weapon. And he hears coyotes. But when he played it back, and he played it for me, you can hear, before the coyotes start up, 3 moans. It's not coyotes, whatever it is. But you in the moment, you probably wouldn't recognize it because the coyotes start up directly after it.
Yep.
And I just thought it was interesting that maybe
that's
what triggered it.
I don't know what that would be. I guess it just stirs them up or something, stirs the coyotes up. But there's a place I go up there on the side of a mountain. There's a little field where on top of that ridge, people jump off and they'll hang glide or whatever, land in that field. But I've been up there in the woods up there, and I found some prints and some little tree structures, I guess. I'm not 100% on tree structures. I mean, someone could have made them, but I had some pictures of some pretty interesting looking ones. I sent them to David Wilbanks. He might still have them, but I don't got them now. But,
have you ever met David?
I haven't met him in person, but I talked to him quite a bit.
He researches around Oklahoma a lot.
Yeah, he's read a few of my emails on his channel, but I've never been on a live thing like this. So.
Have you been out and look for made any casts from prints or done any sort of gifting or tried to do anything like that?
I've never went out and tried to make a cast. I just usually take pictures of stuff. But I thought about getting some stuff going out there and do some cast, but I just ain't got around to doing it.
Do you feel like anything's followed you home with any of your experiences?
No.
You don't. Danny Church says, have you ever smelt anything? Did the one... I mean...
No, I've never smelt anything.
Okay.
I can't. I got a ton of pictures coming in right now. Somebody's sending me a bunch of pictures, so I can't even use my phone.
John Sweet says, were your experiences in the Kiamichi Mountains?
Kiamichi?
Yeah, or right on the outskirts of them, around the Ouachita National Forest area.
Okay.
I cannot believe.
Dan Fowler asks, Hunter, what is the scariest experience you've ever had?
It'd probably be it's not Bigfoot related. It's some kind of cryptid, but I don't know for sure what it was. But it was I mean, my buddy were at his ranch. It isn't a pasture, and he's out here's a little catfish pond, and gonna do some fishing, and some kind of it looked like a canine, but it was completely black and had short front of its legs were shorter than the back legs. It kind of looked like a hyena. That's what it looked like, but it didn't have any hair. It didn't look like it had mange. It was, I mean, it was jet black. It was almost like it wasn't supposed to be there. That just abnormal. And it walked off in the Johnson grass, and we was coming back down that trail, and so my buddy turned around. I turned around with him, and it was there. It looked like it was about to pounce on us or something, but we took off. Then got back to the little gator.
I found it. Oh. Yes, it's called the Medibimp's Howler, and I just thought this is not very long, but it's a secondhand story, and I just thought it was interesting. It's the Medibimp's Howler. It's Washington County, Maine. It stood 2 fathers high. I guess you'll see what that means. They said we had dinner over Thanksgiving 2006 with a group of 60 or more friends and relatives who lived over by Medibimp's, Maryland. Maine, M-E. I don't know my abbreviations. This happened in Washington County. There was this couple down the long Thanksgiving table from us from Woodland Junction, Maine, who had driven down with their elderly mother and their aunt, her sister, both widows with some standing in their respective communities over there in the Indian Township Reservation. That was about all I knew of them. I don't know what started the conversation. As I got in, or after it got started, everyone was eating. The table was growing quiet. Then I heard this word used that got my attention: Medibimp's Howler. The 2 older ladies, we never got their names, were telling about when they were little girls. They went with their parents over to Medibimp's Lake to fish for smallmouth bass. Evidently, the family went often. They said they were poor, didn't have fancy camp gear, slept under the stars, unafraid, with their parents and an uncle. They went on recalling how those were the days, and said as young girls had a favorite rocky island in the lake where they thought the fishing was best. Sometimes they would sleep in the little place in order to get first light fishing in, except when the howler thing started calling across the lake. Then, as it happened, either the uncle or their father would canoe out to collect them from the rocky outcrop. They explained the howling was more like a monotonous singing from someone with a husky voice, but it was called a howler. They said that for my phone. I lost it. Okay. They said that for a long time they didn't know what the howler was, and that as children they had just went there when they were told, until one day they were left alone on the rock island, and the adults went out quite a distance into the lake fish another area. The one lady remembered they had 2 biscuits from breakfast, some worms and crickets to fish with until mid to late afternoon. The older the 2 ladies interrupted and told about once when their parents didn't get back before sunset, the howler started singing again. Anxious for their parents to return, she said the 2 tied up 3 smallmouth bass on market string, placed them in a bucket of water, then waited and worried. The howling grew louder, and then she said it got quiet suddenly. The 2 girls looked around behind them, and there stood 2 giant Indians dripping wet. She said the giants stared down at the 2 of them and then reached over and took their catch. The bigger one walked over to the smaller giant and handed the fish to that one. The lady telling the story was gesturing with her hands. Then the black giants went into the water and swam away with the fish. The man sitting across the table from them, the 2 Indian ladies, asked how big the giants were, and they said 2 fathers high. The one lady said 2 fathers high giants were covered in black, shiny hair, and both giants were dripping wet and had huge, hairy black hands with fingers as big as the fish they caught. They had big feet and had on no clothing. At that recollection, the 2 ladies covered their mouth and snickered. Of course they did. When the parents finally came in the canoe to pick up the girls, they were not very surprised at their story and told them the Medibimp's howler, who was known to steal fish and sometimes little girls, had visited them. After that, the girls were left at the campground area and never fished alone again. In fact, the one lady said that they never went back to their favorite rocky island to fish ever again. I just thought that was a great story, remembering it. Oh. Did we make it?
Nearly.
It's close. Well, before let's see, we got about 5 minutes left. Just remind everyone, I'm working on the film as much as I possibly can. I got a lot done yesterday. I think I have probably 15 or 20 hours worth of editing left to do on it. I did about 5 of that yesterday, so maybe 10 hours left, and it'll be finished. But it's looking really good. It's going to be out really soon. I promise it is. I know you guys have heard me say that a lot, but I think I'm going to have the time now to actually finish the thing. So it is coming. This Friday night, we're going to have JC is going to be back with Brad and I together. He's been on with Brad and he's been on with me, but he hadn't been on with both. So he's going to come back and talk about, he sent me a ton of pictures. So we're going to have that for Friday night for the late show. And Sunday.
Richard?
Yep, Rick Taylor.
Rick Taylor's
going to be coming back. So that'll be myself, Daniela, and Iron Dogger. We'll all be here with Rick and talk about his experiences there. Some experiences he didn't get to on the last show. So that's going to be Sunday at 5:00 p.m. Central. Anything else, Daniela? What you got going on?
Not too much. I'm going to do an Anything Goes on Sunday. Apart from uploading videos to TikTok, I'm not doing much. So, yeah, that's it, really.
And what's that TikTok channel?
Oh, I've no idea. I've actually no idea, but
we get we get accused of a lot of things here. It's very perplexing. But I think Danielle and I are going to put together a comments show and talk about just some of the really good comments that we get and some of the ones we get criticized quite often. So we're gonna put together some of our better, more amusing comments, and we're gonna make a show of it. I think it's gonna be something we do extra. It's not gonna be on a normal, regular day, but when we do get it together, it probably will do it for members only. Is what I was thinking. Is we'll do a comment show for members only, and we'll appreciate all of our members. By the time I get to go home, I'll be out here for 7 weeks. But when I go home, I've got some shirts to send out. So I'm just kind of picking as you guys join. That's who's getting them. So we'll announce those on the next members only of who's going to be getting some shirts. I think there's 8 people chosen right now, and we'll choose 4 more next week. So those are going to be going out. Anything else? Hunter, you got anything else? Hunter, you look like a statue, Hunter. You just, but I think you were just frozen.
Yeah.
Well, cool. Well, hey, look, I've had an experience with them. I know how it made me feel. I mean, and I know not everyone is different, but sometimes you just got to lean into your humility. It's you go outside at night and look up at the stars and you see stars that are shining light from when before the dinosaurs were even here. If that doesn't humble you, I don't know what will. But that's the best thing I could tell anyone that's had an experience is just humble yourself a little bit and just keep in mind, they're out there. They're there. Keep your head on a swivel, man. Don't go fishing without a gun.
Yeah.
It's crazy, isn't it? When I think about it, you can go about your business without knowing they're there and not have a care in the world. And then you have one sighting or an experience, and for it to cancel out everything, or for you not to be able to feel like, actually, I can still go out because, all right, I had, that one experience, but they're kind of very unique, aren't they? you know, and quite rare. I know a lot of people have seen them, but still, some people can hunt for 30 years and never see one, and someone can just go out on a hike, and you know, it's just such a shame that it spoils it for people.
Yeah.
And like for yourself, who just wouldn't go back out in the woods.
Yeah, you know, it ended up being the best thing that ever happened to me.
You made the best of it.
Well, you get that 30,000 foot view, and you get to see how much serendipity is in the whole thing, and knowing who you are, who you were, who I chose to be then, was just a defiant person. I may still be that person if it wasn't for all that. So it ended up being a good thing. So, well, all right, Hunter, thanks so much for joining us. We appreciate you very much. Hope to see everyone Friday night, 9:00 p.m. Central. JC is going to be back with me and Brad. And then Sunday, Rick Taylor's going to be back with the ladies, Iron Dogger, Daniela, and myself. All right.
Good night, everyone.
Good night, everybody.
Thanks, Hunter.
Thank you.